We got some pretty nice mods including strip overhauls, gameplay changes, and even some new creatures and a fix to a broken feature. But let's start things off with Lived In Strip by Recoil. This next entry in the Lived In series makes the strip from New Vegas much more in line with the one from the concept art, whilst maintaining the feeling that the location has in the final game. Its junk walls are gone and have been replaced with concrete ones that make Vegas feel much more, well, I don't really know how to phrase it, like the concrete walls make it feel much more fitting given the state we see the rest of the strip in. And speaking of the state the rest of the strip in, well, much of its decayed casinos have been repaired. Some of the rubbish that was on the floors has been cleaned up, and some extra clutter has been added to where unique NPCs usually just stand around, making their locations feel much more realistic and, well, lived in.
Geez, some people.
But it's not just the main strip that's been changed here, the casinos have as well. The Gomorrah now has a fountain in its courtyard, and you can also now see it from the tops, which you strangely couldn't do in the vanilla game. The tops has seen a complete revamp to its lighting, looking brighter with the peeling wallpaper being repaired, and Vault 21 seen a lot more clutter, so it no longer feels as empty as it did originally. Some extra details have also been added to these casinos, and overall it makes the strip feel much more like the oasis it's meant to be. The Lucky 38 penthouse is probably my favourite change with this mod though. It's no longer just a drab grey penthouse, instead having some really nice red carpet that runs throughout. And honestly, this is a strip overhaul I really think you should check out. It's not going to be compatible with OpenStrip, but if you like the segmented feel of vanillas, this is probably the best strip overhaul you can get.
I invited you here so we could talk, not so you can nose around.
Performance wise, I also didn't notice any drops with this mod installed, so yeah. All around it's a solid strip overhaul and definitely provides a lived-in feeling to the area. Next up we have Wickedzz Vault Suit Retextures. This mod, as you can probably guess by the title, retextures the vault suits. It covers all of the ones you can come across in the vanilla game, including things like the security and scientist outfits, and they're now a much darker blue when compared to their vanilla counterparts. And the numbers on the back of the suits have also seen an increase in size, similar to their depictions in the classic games. It's got an optional file for the Armored Vault 13 suit if you're already running another mod that replaces its textures, but overall this mod strikes a nice balance between keeping the Neo suit style, as the Fallout 4 Creation Club called them, whilst bringing over the iconic big number and more saturated colour palette from the classic games. Fast Travel Expenses by FinalCatalyst is a mod that, weirdly enough, I suggested to one of my mates that it would be a cool feature to have in New Vegas, and quite literally the day after we finally do. It adds probably one of the better balancing aspects the Fallout series has seen from 76 and brought it into New Vegas, as fast travelling now costs caps. The amount of caps scales with how far away the destination is, with locations within 100 meters of you being free. All of this is configurable via the mod's INI. It's compatible with immersive fast travel encounters, just be sure to disable that mod's fast travel requirement setting. But yeah, this feels like a nice balance between keeping the convenience of fast travel whilst not letting you just teleport across the map for free. So you'll probably be wandering around a lot more at the start of the game, or at least until you can break the game's economy at the casinos. Wild Animals of the Mojave pair pretty well with the last mod, as if you are going to be wondering, this mod makes the wasteland feel, well, more alive. It adds in several new non-hostile creatures that you can find wandering the wastes. They're not just filler creatures though, as new crafting recipes have been introduced that gives the hides and meats they drop some purpose, and you'll even be able to find some of the food items on NPCs. So now you'll be able to find squirrels, iguanas, more variations of birds, wolves, raccoons, boars, foxes, and even cats, apes and rattlesnakes in the Mojave. Now, if you're the sort of person whose brain will explode when House says cats were extinct, don't worry, as all the creatures can be disabled in the mod's faux mod or INI. It comes with support for not only Tale of Two Wastelands, but both B42 Interact skinning and B42 Inject for the food eating animations, making this a pretty nice mod to have in your game. It adds in some more variety to the wasteland wildlife in a non-intrusive way. Now for two bonus mods, we got Audio Region Fix by Wall. This fixes yet another broken feature from New Vegas. This time, did you know that you were meant to be able to hear different sounds in different regions? And I'm not talking about the ambient music, but yeah, this feature was bugged in the vanilla game, but Wall's fixed it and uploaded some pretty good comparison videos so you can hear just the difference this makes. Although it's not used much in the vanilla game or DLCs, it'll be cool to see a mod that makes these more unique down the line. NPCs React to Invisibility is a pretty subtle immersion increasing mod that simply adds NPC dialogue if you go invisible via a stealth boy or similar source in front of them.
Where'd you go? Could have sworn you was here.
And finally, we have probably the biggest mod that released this week, and that's Cellblock Psycho's Tale of New Reno Episode 0. Don't worry, I'm not going to spoil it here. It's a ground up remake of the original mod, and will see you travelling to a newly repopulated Bonnie Springs, because yeah, instead of it being a destroyed town raided by vipers that it is in the vanilla game, it's now home to some settlers who are not exactly going through the best of times. Some of their people have gone missing, presumably kidnapped by the vipers, and it's our task to try and figure out what exactly happened to them. On first approach to the town, we'll encounter the sheriff fending off against some vipers. You can either assist him when he opens fire, or try and talk down the viper leader. The NPCs in this mod are voiced, and I'll let you judge the quality of these for yourself.
Welcome to the lucky pot. Stay away from the moonshine. Made a guy go blind once.
Heard that, huh? Yeah. Normally I'd say it isn't any of your business, but Lynette makes it a point to make our arguments everyone's business.
Yeah, I kind of just blew up on him, didn't I? If he doesn't, well, how am I supposed to know he cares? That he can defend us? We have a kid now. I need a man who will be there for her.
Right, and I got my head cut off when I made my bed this morning. Oh, that's a real lame story to make up.
Now, I did really like some of the dialogue options in this mod. There's this one really interesting encounter quite early on, where there's a couple that are arguing and the wife is angry that her husband didn't do anything to help fend off the vipers. Here you can, well, either try and get with the husband and convince him to break up, or do the same for the wife. Obviously though, your attempt is unsuccessful, which is quite refreshing for a mod. It's not often that you'll fail in these sorts of attempts in mods, and it's quite interesting to see it, especially if it comes back later. Now, I haven't played the rest of the series of the mods, and I'm probably going to end up waiting until the full series releases, but if things like this are what's carried over, that'd be really interesting to see. The quests here have quite a few choices for you to make, and those you do make are going to impact the Episode 1 remake when that eventually releases. If you're looking for new content in New Vegas, well, this is definitely going to be what you want. Cellblock's quest mods are always incredibly high quality and arguably some of the best for New Vegas. So yeah, check this out. It's not going to be compatible with things like Freeside Open and any mod that touches Bonnie Springs obviously. There is a KNVSE animation patch for some of the guns available in this mod, although I didn't use it with my time playing, but yeah, if you want KNVSE animations for the newly introduced weapons from Tales of a New Reno Episode 0, be sure to pick this up. It will use a combination of animations from the New Vegas animation overhaul by Hitman and Rockbiter, so yeah, be sure to pick that up too, although I haven't played with it myself. But yeah, that's going to be all for today. As always, you can find all the mods mentioned linked in the description, but with that being said, I hope you enjoyed and I hope to see you all next time.